Once upon a time, there was a boy who lived in a village. His name was Aryan. He was only 17 years old but carried big dreams in his heart. Aryan lived in a very simple mud house with his poor hard-working family. His father was a farmer who worked long hours under the hot burning sun. His mother cooked food on a clay stove every single morning and evening. They did not have much money, but they always had love and strong hope. Aryan had one small torn notebook and one old broken pencil every day. He used that pencil to write his big dreams inside that little notebook. Every night before sleeping, he would look at the bright stars above him. He would whisper quietly, "One day I will become something great and big." Nobody in his village had ever gone to a big city for better education. Everyone around him said farming was the only life available for poor people. But Aryan never believed those words because his heart felt something different. One afternoon a stranger came walking into their small and dusty village. He was wearing clean clothes and carried a shining laptop bag on his shoulder. All the village children ran behind him with curious and excited wide eyes. That man's name was Mr. Rahul, and he had come from a big city far away. He had grown up in the same village, but had worked very hard to succeed. Mr. Rahul sat under the big old banyan tree and started talking to everyone. He spoke in clear and confident English, and everyone was listening very carefully. Aryan sat in the front row, and his mouth was open with total amazement. He had never heard anyone speak English so smoothly and so confidently before. Mr. Rahul said, "I was poor just like all of you sitting here today," he continued, "but I learned English every single day without stopping or giving up." He added, "That one skill changed my entire life and opened every closed door." Aryan felt something burning inside his chest like a small but powerful fire. That night he could not sleep because his mind was full of strong new thoughts. He kept thinking, "If Rahul can do it, then I can also do the same." The very next morning, Aryan woke up before the sun came out in the sky. He splashed cold water on his face and looked at himself in a small mirror. He said to his own reflection, "Starting today everything in my life will change." He found an old torn English textbook lying under a broken wooden table nearby. He dusted it off carefully and held it close to his chest with great joy. From that day forward, Aryan made one very important and powerful daily promise. He decided he would learn at least 10 new English words every single morning. He would practice speaking English for 30 minutes before doing anything else daily. He wrote this habit on his notebook in big bold letters as his daily rule. His family thought he was wasting time when he should be helping on the farm. His friends laughed at him and said, "Village boys cannot speak English ever." One boy named Suresh said loudly, "Aryan is acting too big for his own shoes," but Aryan just smiled quietly and went back to his small corner to study. He never argued with anyone because he knew actions speak louder than any words. Every single evening he would review what he learned and then write new sentences. 3 months passed and Aryan was still practicing his English every single morning, but progress felt very slow and sometimes he felt deeply discouraged and very tired. One day he tried to speak English with a visiting teacher in the village school. The teacher corrected almost every single word he spoke with a sharp, strict tone. Aryan's face turned red, and he felt very embarrassed in front of everyone there. He walked home slowly that day with his head down, and his heart feeling heavy. He sat alone under the banyan tree where Mr. Rahul had once inspired everyone. He opened his notebook and read the big bold words he had written before. The words said, "Every great person you admire once started from absolute zero." He closed his eyes and thought deeply about why he had started this journey. He remembered his father's tired and rough hands from years of hard farm work. He remembered his mother's gentle eyes full of silent hope every single day. He thought, "I am not doing this only for myself but for my whole family." He stood up slowly, brushed the dust off his clothes and started walking home. That evening he studied harder than he had ever studied in his entire life. After 6 months of daily practice, something beautiful and wonderful slowly started happening. Aryan began to notice that English words were coming to his mind more naturally now. When he read a sentence, he could understand it much faster than he could before. When he practiced speaking, his words sounded cleaner and much more confident each day. He started a small habit of recording his own voice on an old borrowed phone. He would listen back and fix his pronunciation mistakes with patience and great care. He also watched English videos on that phone whenever he could borrow it from neighbors. He paid close attention to how native speakers moved their mouth while forming words. He copied their style and practiced in front of his small cracked bathroom mirror daily. One day his younger sister Priya asked him to help her with an English letter. Aryan sat with her and wrote the entire letter in clear and perfect English words. His sister looked at him with big shining eyes full of pride and deep admiration. She said softly, "Brother, you have become so good at English in just a short time." Those simple words from his little sister meant more to Aryan than anything else. He hugged her tightly and whispered, "Hard work always shows up sooner or later." 1 year after starting his daily English habit, something truly amazing happened for Aryan. A big organization from the city announced a public speaking competition for young people. The competition was open to students from villages and small towns across the entire region. The first prize was a full scholarship to study in a prestigious college in Delhi. Aryan's heart jumped with excitement and nervousness when he first heard this great news. His hands were trembling slightly as he read the announcement paper on the village board. All his friends said, "City students will win this easily, so do not even try." Even his own uncle said, "Why embarrass our family by competing with educated city boys?" But Aryan remembered something Mr. Rahul had said under the banyan tree long ago. Mr. Rahul had said, "Opportunity never tells you it is coming, so always stay ready." Aryan decided in that very moment that he would register and compete without any fear. He told his parents that night, and his mother immediately held both his hands warmly. She said with a soft and strong voice, "Whatever happens, we are proud of you." His father patted his shoulder gently, without saying a word, but his eyes said everything. That one moment gave Aryan more strength and courage than any book ever could have. Aryan had exactly 3 weeks to prepare his speech for the big city competition. He wrote his speech topic as how one daily habit can transform your entire life. He practiced that speech standing in the open farm field at 5 in the morning. He spoke to the empty fields, the tall trees, and the slowly waking morning birds. He imagined a large audience watching him, and he practiced keeping his voice steady. He stumbled over words many times, but he always started again from the very beginning. His neighbor Uncle Ramnath saw him practicing one morning and came to listen quietly. After Aryan finished speaking, Uncle Ramnath was completely silent for a long, thoughtful moment. Then the old man said slowly, "Son, I have never heard anyone speak like that before." He added, "You have something special inside you that this village has never seen." Those words filled Aryan with a warm and powerful feeling deep inside his grateful heart. He worked even harder in the final week, and slept very little during those nights. He memorized every line, every pause, every breath, and every gesture in his full speech. He even stood in front of 10 village children and gave his complete practice speech. Those children clapped at the end, and Aryan knew deep inside that he was ready. Competition day arrived, and Aryan reached the big noisy city for the very first time. Everything around him was tall, loud, shining, and completely new to his village-trained eyes. He saw enormous buildings, bright shopping malls, and hundreds of fast-moving cars everywhere. His heart was beating fast, but he kept his breathing slow and his mind very calm. There were 35 other participants, and most of them wore expensive polished formal clothes. They carried printed notes, spoke fluently among themselves, and looked very poised and confident. Aryan looked down at his simple iron shirt and took one long and deep slow breath. He told himself quietly, "They have better clothes, but I have a better story to tell." When his name was finally called, he walked slowly and steadily to the front stage. The bright lights were shining directly onto his face, and the hall was completely silent. He looked out at the large audience and saw hundreds of unknown watching faces before him. For 1 second his mind went completely blank and his legs felt very weak and heavy. Then he remembered his father's rough hands, his mother's gentle eyes, and his sister's proud smile. He opened his mouth and his very first sentence came out clear, strong, and completely confident. He said, "I come from a small village where dreams are bigger than all the buildings here." The entire hall became completely silent as Aryan continued his powerful and emotional speech. He spoke about his small village, his torn notebook, his broken pencil, and his big dream. He spoke about how he learned English with no internet, no tutor, and no proper school. He spoke about embarrassment, failure, laughter from friends, and the long, lonely, difficult nights. He spoke about his father farming under the burning hot sun without ever once complaining. He spoke about his mother's prayers every single night before she closed her tired eyes. His voice was not perfect and his accent was clearly from a small village far away. But every single word he spoke came directly from a real and deeply honest place. People in the audience started leaning forward as his story got more emotional and real. Some women in the front row had tears rolling slowly and quietly down their warm cheeks. The judges were writing notes, but their pens had stopped and their eyes were fully fixed. When Aryan reached the final part of his speech, his voice became stronger and more powerful. He said boldly, "You do not need perfect conditions to start building your greatest life." He continued, "You only need one decision, one habit, and one reason that is bigger than fear." He ended with these last words, "The village in me taught the city in me how to rise." After everyone finished speaking, the judges went into a private room to carefully discuss results. Every participant was sitting in the hall talking nervously and checking their phones with anxiety. Aryan sat quietly with his hands folded and his eyes closed in calm, silent meditation. He was not thinking about winning, he was feeling grateful just for standing on that stage. After 30 long minutes, the chief judge walked back to the front of the main stage. The judge tapped the microphone once and the entire noisy hall fell completely silent again. He said slowly with a big and warm smile spreading across his experienced and kind face, "This year's winner comes from a small village and his name is Aryan." The entire hall erupted into loud, thunderous applause that echoed all through the big building. Aryan stood up slowly as if he could not fully believe what he had just heard. The boy next to him pushed him gently and said with a big grin, "That is you, man." Aryan walked to the stage on shaking legs with tears quietly running down his smiling face. He held the shining trophy in both his hands and looked up at the bright ceiling lights. In that silent moment he could see his father's face, his mother's eyes, and his village sky. He whispered to himself very softly, "Every morning I woke up early paid off today." 2 days later, Aryan returned to his small village on the old dusty village road again. But this time every single person in the village came out of their homes to welcome him. Even the people who had laughed at him were now clapping and smiling with great pride. Old Uncle Ramnath was standing at the front with the brightest and most emotional smile. Children were running alongside Aryan shouting his name with joy and great loud excitement. His mother was standing at the door of their small mud house holding a small oil lamp. When Aryan reached her, she placed her gentle hand on his head and closed her eyes. She did not say a single word because her tears were saying everything perfectly and beautifully. His father walked forward slowly, looked at the shining trophy, and then looked at Aryan's face. He said in a low and deeply proud voice, "Son, you have made this family immortal today." That evening the whole village gathered under the same old big beautiful banyan tree together. Aryan stood up and spoke to all the young children sitting and listening in the front. He said simply and clearly, "I did not win because I was smarter than everyone else." He continued, "I won because every single morning I chose to improve just a little bit." He held up his small worn notebook and said, "This little book held my biggest giant dream." As the stars came out above the village that night, Aryan sat alone under the banyan tree. He opened his old notebook to the very first page and read his very first entry. It said simply and powerfully, "Today I will learn 10 new words and never stop ever." He smiled slowly and deeply because everything had started from that one small simple sentence. He picked up his pen and wrote one new line at the bottom of that same page. He wrote, "Small daily habits done consistently are more powerful than any rare big talent." This is the most important truth that Aryan learned through his long and difficult beautiful journey. He did not have expensive courses, smart teachers, fast internet, or a perfect learning environment. What he had was simply one strong decision and the discipline to honor it every morning. He woke up when everyone else was sleeping and he practiced when others were busy laughing. He was patient when progress felt invisible and he kept going when failure knocked him down. He never waited for perfect conditions because he understood that perfect conditions never arrive alone. Every single morning he chose improvement over comfort, and that choice eventually changed his whole life. You do not need a perfect start. You do not need a perfect place. You do not need perfect tools. You only need one good habit practiced every single day without stopping. The person you want to become is waiting on the other side of your daily discipline. Start small. Start today. Start now. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more powerful motivation.